We are continuing our conversation. It's an XSpace today. It's a digital baraza. We have digital barazas where we bring the conversation to the ground on the digital space. You can join the XSpace at NTV Kenya, or you can continue following the conversation on YouTube and Facebook and NTV and Nation FM. Today, it's about the road crashes in this country. It's killer roads. What is happening? We have in the studio with us the head of traffic police in Nairobi County, Boniface Otieno. And also we're joined by many people on the XSpace. And if you'd like to get the mic, please just request for the mic. We'll give you the mic so that you can continue the conversation. As we're talking about this, and Jano, you're going to read some of the comments. Boniface had told us, if you're thinking about road safety, there's things that we usually consider. The 3 E's, they say the 3 E's, it could be 4. Engineering, education, that is awareness of all road users, enforcement, and then there's emergency or post-crash care, right? Or what happens there. So in all those, where are the weak spots? What is actually causing to such high numbers? It is a very high number. 398 people have died between New Year's Day and today.
Yeah.
In a month. 398 people. Majority of them by far pedestrians, 143. Somebody who was not in a vehicle, was not on a motorbike, was not on a bicycle, was walking along a road, or was standing by the roadside. They got knocked down by a motorized vehicle, and they died. Why?
Yeah.
And how?
And how are we still seeing the numbers, even when he gave us some of the comparisons to last year? It's not very encouraging. I know we interrogated engineering. We'll come back to some of that. But some of the feedback, one of them speaks to, I think it was you, Mariam, who once said, so still, Mike, the one is saying, can we enforce body cams on traffic officers to try and reduce bribe cases? I think it's very important that we bring that back.
And all police officers.
All police officers. Then somebody else is saying whether we can also appreciate our part in this. Let me see how they put it. They said bribees.
The briber.
The bribe. Oh yeah, the bribee. See, the briber is the person who's supposed to enforce.
The briber. No, the briber is the one offering the bribe.
Bribe giver.
That's is the briber. The bribee is the cop.
Is the cop. Okay, so I think what they meant is that should we also interrogate us who continue to participate? Can the other party also appreciate our own role in it?
Yes.
That's what Alan Bosiri says. Peter Otieno, still enforcement needs a lot more support internally and externally. What is the average, lowest and highest salary within the Kenya Police Service? And then Jose Little, the police service consistently tops the Transparency International Corruption Index. Could regular wealth declaration and lifestyle audits help the situation? Interesting that two people are saying something similar. Only solution is the police is to wear the body camera. Okay.
I mean, same thing on X, by the way. And there's a lot of feedback. Join our space and ask for the mic. Amliota will give you the mic. And you can contribute, ask questions to Boniface or to even other stakeholders, because we will be having Kenha here soon. Moses Oloch says, road accidents are accelerated by our police officers. We should first fix our police officers on the collection of 50 bob in every PSV without checking the safety. Let them answer where the money goes to. I'm sure those officers answer to their superiors. PC Python says, bribes on a road is a Mungiki system. Just like Mungiki collected fees from matatus, so do cartels in the country. A very long chain of million makers, millionaires in the making or something of the sort. A cartel chain of tax and bribery that takes on our society. Sir Nixon says, are there special traffic laws governing Mira ferrying vehicles because they cruise at killing speeds even past traffic police officers? Mr. Special says, a data-driven approach. Collect and analyze accident data to identify hotspots and target interventions effectively. I think that's very low-hanging fruit. Safari says, poor roads and poor vehicles are the main causes of accidents. PC Python also says, the bribe collection is an official sanctioned system of funding police or activities. Each station...
Each station has a quota.
Each station has an official expectation, basically a quota, to deliver by the end of the month.
Actually, you'll respond to this because this is not the only time we're hearing that. Even the IG of police has come to say, surely, that the money arrives all the way to my office, surely. So you as the county boss, what's a quota?
Yes, we don't receive any quota, neither do I receive personally. But Eric, critically, allow me to agree with somebody who said that what are our responsibilities as citizens? Why do we give bribes? Again, we really needed to interrogate why Kenyans are motivated or quickly give that bribe. And the laws would cut across the giver and the taker. True. The taker, which indicated that the taker, who is a police officer like me, action has been taken. So the bribe giver, how many times have you been in a matatu? Maybe you don't use matatu. A policeman is ahead and you see the conductor looking for change. Why? The policeman has not stopped the vehicle. The vehicle is okay, carried to capacity. Why? So we really need to come and sociologically analyze. That is not social, like psychology or anything of the sort. Why?
It is because they know what is going to happen when they get stopped.
Nothing will happen. Police will check the vehicle for any...
You know, we live in Nairobi, Boniface. we live in Nairobi. Please, watch Mchezo. Let's not lie. They know exactly what is going to happen at that stop. Mm-hmm. The faster they can get that 50 or 100 out, the faster they can go on about their day.
And also, given that sometimes you want a clear explanation as to why you've been pulled over. Okay, there's many reasons, but I think a lot of the time, I hear you, the accountability is also on our part.
Yes.
But when somebody pulls you over and you genuinely are not sure why, and you're just asking and saying, could you just correct me? Again, a lot of the time it's you're lashed out at, or it's only a few minutes in that you're like, oh.
That's what they want.
That's what they want. So I think it still goes back to service over policing.
Janet, allow me to also indicate that one of the accountability measures we take as police is that we have got our names and the numbers displayed. Mm-hmm. Here you can read my number. So if Boniface Otieno takes the bribe, you can even have a picture of that.
I actually can't.
Read the number.
The number.
I have the name.
Yes.
But all our officers have got name and a number. Mm-hmm. So, this is accountability. You are free to take that number anytime and report. But allow me to, somebody talked about database. Mm-hmm. Can we use data-driven approach to enforcement or approach to fixing traffic problems? There is a lot of interventions on this matter. Although I'm not allowed to talk about my boss, IG, who has just come from Japan and a team of senior officers just to discuss how we will use data to address road safety challenges. So police is doing a lot on this. We have a program by JICA funding police to fix and to create crash database. It will be a database just like any bank where all accidents reported will be populated there, analyzed, cleaned, and the data will be free for the public. That data, one of the key objectives, will help in going back to analyze the black spots. Where do these accidents normally occur? What are the causes? Are they human error? Are they engineering? Are they mechanical problems? So that one, I can say 100%. In the next 1 year, we will have an accident crash data. It will be one and the only in East and Central Africa. Mm-hmm. I'm sure about that. Mm-hmm. About, somebody talked about body cameras. Mm-hmm. Body cameras, my boss mentioned it, and traffic commandant has taken it very positively and is really pursuing. We want our traffic police officers to have body cams. Mm-hmm. In fact, the traffic commandant is establishing another control center where citizens will be able to report accident instantly, a place which will be fixed with the toll-free lines, and Safaricom is working with the traffic police to make that. That project has got body cameras for the traffic police. So we are working in that direction citizens are talking about, and when it is fixed, even the assault and insults and any other criminality which police faces, this body cam will be able to help them. In fact, we are very positive because it will help me to know and to document, for example, when you assaulted me. So it will be my evidence. So traffic police have really taken this positively because that bad name for us, it is not good. I remember my boss was saying he's being asked by the children, ABCD. All of us are being asked. And it is a situation which we must fix and must move away from.
There's something about, and we'll jump onto Twitter in a minute, but there's something about building trust with the police service in general, and with traffic police. I'll be honest, I don't know where the fix begins. I don't think, even a body cam, as much as I am pushing for a body cam, I can see how the footage will conveniently go missing. I mean, we've had CCTV cameras in very strategic places in Nairobi, but when major crimes happen, suddenly the footage is nowhere to be found. So even the body cams, if they come when we haven't fixed the underlying issue, we'll just be in the same, question that to you, same. As far, what is genuinely the fix as far as getting police officers and traffic police officers specifically to just do their work? Is it, let me posit one, more money and fair pay and good living conditions? Because I think that's a great place to start. And is there something also in the training that needs to change?
Thank you. Tied to somebody who talked about salary, I think police, among other civil servants, we cannot complain that we are lowly paid. Remember, most of police officers live in government quarters, particularly where you work. So we don't spend a lot on traveling and ABCD.
But Boniface, we've seen those houses. A lot of them don't have dignity. There's some places where there's proper police housing, I agree, in some parts of Nairobi, but a lot of police stations, you see the housing, I don't think it is befitting of a police officer.
And you will agree with me that systemically we have been fixing and pulling down those old houses. Are you aware that even a good number of police officers will be considered in the national project affordable housing? And all those affordable housing zones has got police stations. So on housing and salary, these are progressive programs by the national government. We can't complain about that. But allow me, before
I spoke to a police officer incognito, would I get the same answer? Because maybe Boniface doesn't have any reason to complain, but I think a traffic police officer who's outside there right now may feel differently about working conditions,
their welfare,
hours, pay.
You see, traffic police officer is much better. Do you know we have, I'm talking about the entire National Police Service. Do you know we have anti-stock theft police unit, people who are in tents, and those units in the northern frontier. So can they compare themselves with the traffic police? So traffic police and officers working in town, urban centers are okay. But we still have, as a National Police Service officers, the nature of the operations they do require tents, require quick movement. So they don't have houses.
Dangerous
and they are
working
not
zones.
complaining.
They're okay because of that 50-100 that is coming from every PSP.
That's a horrible excuse, though, to use. Even if you are being paid 10,000 shillings, that should not be an excuse why you are demanding a bribe. Get out of the service, go and work elsewhere. I mean, we've got to balance between ethics and, yes, police officers, their welfare and the working conditions and their remuneration and all ought to be addressed. David Maraga, when he chaired that task force on police and the prison service and NYS, came up with that report, and it's been said over and over again. That is, yes, it is something that should be addressed. Should it be an excuse for any person to harass the other person on the road to demand a bribe?
No.
Because it
And I don't think, surely they have told you that they are not well paid, that's why they take bribe. I don't think. But there is a matter I want to address
Yeah.
about instant fine, and
Yeah.
it is related to
Yeah.
all this we are talking about.
Let's jot it down and then come back and respond to that. But we
Right.
have got a couple of speakers online who would like to contribute to this.
But
First
just
one
hold on
is
to that.
Samuel Musumba. Samuel Musumba, you have the mic, and then after you, we'll hear from Njoroge Gats, Joro
yeah.
Gats, who also has the mic as a speaker. Samuel, go with you first. What's your view? We have a crisis on our roads. People are dying, and these are unnecessary deaths. How do you address it?
Thank you. Good morning. I hope I can be heard.
Samuel, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. I think I'm loving the conversation, though I joined in a bit late. But really appreciate the fact that we can have even this national conversation. As a country, I would say we are at a crossroad when it comes to matters, road issues. And this really is worrying because it translates into the numbers that we're talking about here, deaths that we cannot be able to, get back these lives. But having said that, for me, where I sit at NTSA, we look at all these things, 360. And really, it's no one here to blame. I think time for finger pointing is really long gone. We are all in this. Because if you look at the incidences on the roads, isolate any, and you realize that it is so systemic, it's just everyone, to blame here. And so really having such a healthy conversation where we say, hey, can we hold each other just accountable and say, hey, can we pull together and share this responsibility? For me, makes a lot of sense. Now, also having said that, I want to point out that really the struggle we have now is nothing really rocket science. We may get all manner of excuses, but really just where is our behavior as a people?
Okay.
I'll take last year's example, and sadly, we ended up with almost 5,000 lives lost, which was, not necessary. But a lot of things happened. Campaigns were put up, reaching out to every road user. I mean, we did all that. Pulled in all the stakeholders, a lot of interventions really went into that, including the same December, which, of course, when it was also January, we reached out to everyone, just like, can we do it differently this time? Even as we travel, can we travel differently? And really that information was out there. But then what do you see? You see almost the opposite of that.
Right.
Largely, most of the incidences that we have looked at, all these numbers, all these incidences, you realize the human element, the behavior element really was top notch. Issue roads, a bit, mechanical issues, very minimal. But a lot had to do with just how did we behave, on those roads. We really pleaded with most Kenyans, can we just plan our journeys, even as we travel? These mass travels, could we just do something about it? But what did we see? A lot, again, the opposite of that. The speed issue. We talked about it. We even mentioned the areas that are black spots. Hey, you're warned here. When you reach here, just do the right thing. But again, that didn't work out so well.
Right.
But really, in terms of how do we then move, a lot now has to be done on just how do we address this behavior change issue.
All right.
Sam, just
hold
on to that thought. Sorry to interrupt you. Just hold on to the fix, because we want to come back to that a little bit later. But just hold on to the thought about the fix. I wanted to ask you, like you've talked about, and this is not to dismiss like human behavior, and of course our behavior even as pedestrians, as motorcyclists, as drivers, everywhere. Not to dismiss it, but you talked about, for example, campaigning and sending information out about black spots and things like that. But then you ask yourself, why is a black spot, right? Mm-hmm. It's essentially something flawed in the design of the road. And then when we have had black spots that have received like very small changes, just putting guardrails, something as simple as that, and then you see suddenly it's no longer a black spot. So I'm wondering, as we do acknowledge human error is a big, big, big part of the reason why we have this carnage, what room is there for especially road design on our highways? And I'll even go into PSV fabrication as well, because it's been something that's bothering me. I don't know how our PSVs are built, but you see the way they take impact, and it's just, I don't know. Are there standards, globally acceptable ones? I think there's something also flawed there, but maybe Samuel and Gats, we can react to that as well.
Before Gats comes in, we'll be going to a break. But so Gats, and also we have Moses Oluoch, who from his ex-profile is a St. John ambulance volunteer as well. So from the point of also first responder in scenes of accident, we'll hear from them on what they think. It's a good question that you're raising here about what is it that is what are the contributing factors? Samuel is raising this one of road user behavior as a contributing factor. To what extent is it a contributing factor? Let's also discuss that as we come back. It's 27 minutes after 8. Let's take a quick break and then we come back. Join our XSpace at NTV Kenya. You can ask for the mic. You'll be given the mic by Amlioto, and then we'll have you on air. What are your thoughts on the rising numbers of road accidents on our roads? And in fact, let's remove the word accident and just substitute it with crashes, road crashes. What's causing them? How do we stop them? We'll be back in a moment after this.
Just before the break, Mariam had posed a question. Do we still have you still have the mic? So that maybe they can get that answer before we then come back to
we can ask
studio.
all the contributors here. I think Gats was also lined up to speak next. In Joro, Gats, you have the mic, and then we'll hear from Moses Oluoch on your thoughts. So as you're contributing, what are the causative factors that lead to road crashes? And also, it comes to road design, vehicle design, safety features on the vehicles, and also then user behavior on the roads and enforcement in all those. Gats, you have the mic.
Thank you very much, Latif. My name is Peter Njoroge. I really like the conversation that we are having. So for my contribution on all those aspects you've asked, one, for the design of the roads. There was a time, I don't know if that is still the statistic, pedestrians or the people that walk on our roads constitute the biggest percentage of victims of road accidents. So that really means when our roads are being designed, they don't factor in proper footpaths, they don't factor in, paths for bicycles and all those things. So I think going forward, Kenha and those in charge of designing our roads, we really need to factor in pedestrians, because you'll find pedestrians squeezing on roads with cars, with bikes and all those things. And this actually is now causing some of these problems. Two, I also think there's a regulation issue has to do, because myself and many others, we use roads, you'll find wheel cuts on highways, okay? So you're on speed, suddenly you find a wheel cut. We have motorbikes that are not following the traffic rules and regulations. So I think we need proper enforcement on who can use highways. Also, bikes need to be regulated to ensure, sometimes they'll just come ahead of a speeding vehicle, and again, an accident will be caused. Three, it's the issue of behavior. I'll say motorist behavior and generally the culture of Kenyans. And I'll say this is majorly contributed by this aspect of corruption. As you've correctly noted, most, especially PSV matatus and majorly major road users, they'll commit traffic offenses on the roads, or they'll overlap and do all those things, knowing very well that if they issue a bribe, they'll get away scot-free. But again, there's a problem with enforcement, because our traffic rules and laws are very clear on enforcement and penalties, especially for these petty offenses like obstruction. For instance, sometime last year, I found myself on the bad side of the law by being found guilty of obstruction. Obstruction is a petty offense that you're just simply supposed to pay a fine, okay? So these police arrests me. I'm willing to comply and follow the law to pay the amount. Actually, I think for obstruction is 10,000. But this traffic officer, actually it was just a police officer, frustrated me so much. He kept me waiting. He'll tell me a police officer will come and write for you. So they make it so hard for you to comply so that you can offer bribe. And I think that's a problem, because if a Kenyan is willing to follow the law, and again, on that issue, I think we need to try and borrow from advanced system where there is very little human contact when you commit a traffic offense. If we can have something like ticketing, if you're found in obstruction or found overlapping, just have a ticket. If you have to show it to court to pay a fine, pay the fine, so that there is very little human contact, because this human contact with the police is what is encouraging, and they're making it so hard for Kenyans to obey or to do the right thing by, say, paying the fines. They frustrate you. They keep you waiting for almost a whole day, so that you, at the end of the day, you're so tired, you'll say, you just receive what you have to receive. I have to go. You see, so I find there's that problem.
Yeah, well
Thank
said.
you, Gats. You're very right. The on-the-spot fines, will keep coming back to them again. And so many good ideas, body cams, on-the-spot fines. But if we don't do them and do them right, tutakuwa shida. Bado kuna Moses. Moses, you have the mic now. Moses will watch ama generali. You're a St. John's ambulance volunteer. So I'm guessing you have probably been a first responder at accident scenes. But what are you thinking around this conversation on curbing road carnage?
Thank you very much. I appreciate for the conversation today. My name is Moses Omoloch. I'm still a student at Kisii, and probably I use the road when traveling home to Kisii, from Kisii to home as well. So the designing of our roads, maybe when I start or pick on that, the designing of our roads, you find that most of our roads in Kenya, we are having a narrow road that the quantity of vehicles or the amount of vehicles have also increased. So we get that it's very difficult for our drivers to use a one-way. So what I would advise the carer or the government in place, they should reconsider in constructing the dual roads, so that it eases the congestion and as well as allows the free flow of our vehicles. Secondly, when I will strongly point on the enforcement officers. Time and again, we have encountered such a problem of officers picking 50 bob, 100 bob on the PSV vehicles. And I'll be sorry to say to the Boniface that I heard him say that the problem is within the person giving bribe and the person taking the bribe. But let's be truth to ourselves. You carry the passengers. When you reach at the police checkpoint, if you don't give out the 50 bob, they call back to the SACCO. They call the SACCO, the head of the SACCO, saying that the car plate this and this has not given out the due. So you wonder that if you don't give, the SACCO will kick you out because you are defining, you are actually going contrary to what they expect you to do. And they take this money, and this money are being taken to their bosses. And the bosses know clearly that at this checkpoint, we are required, the people are required to bring a certain amount of money to our offices. So we should call upon the enforcement officers to stop the bribe, because they don't even check how much passengers are being carried on 14-seater matatu, even if it exceeds the number. So what they are much into is only the 100 board, which is being folded into a structure like a ball gum, so tiny, then dropped on the wheel of a vehicle as the driver continues with the run. Then the behavior, I think our behavior as users of the road is also should be over concerned.
Yeah.
In Kisumu we have footbridges, but it is on a highway. But you will find us as the passengers or the road users who are supposed to be walking on the footbridge, we choose to cross the road when the road is busy, because we find that, or we see the footbridge to be longer. Climbing it, then walking across it, it is longer than just taking a shortcut. So you don't even look at the speed of a vehicle, you just cross it without looking. Then as a first aid responder, we've encountered this the problem of road accident now and again, and I can attest to a road here in Kisii, Keroka Road. It is very prone to accident over the same issue. Our drivers, the vehicles are not in a good state, and they don't check. We have drivers who are drunkard now and again. You try, they are killing people, and actually it is very bad. Keroka is prone to accident here in Kisii. After every week we must lose a life, and we are being called upon because of overspeeding. The drivers are not taking much consideration. The drivers are running onto passengers. That's competition. So I think if we have a reform in our law enforcement and we have an awareness on our drivers as well, then I think we can mitigate the issue. Then lastly, I think the driving schools as well is a problem. You find a driver he has a low experience, but being that he has money and connection, what he does is only to pay that money so that he can get that license. Then he starts operating on the road. Thank you very much.
Before you go, Moses, just before you go, I wanted to know, as a first responder at accident scenes, what's the most common mistake that you see, or the biggest issue that you see as far as first aid and first response is concerned when it comes to accidents?
So when it comes to accident, the problem we see, or the things we encounter when we are on the ground, time and again, it's usually the recklessness of the drivers, the people at the scene when the accident was happening.
Sorry, Moses. Oh yeah, I want to know, like, the response. Yeah, the response, especially from wananchi, not after the accident has happened. What's the most common mistake people make?
So after the accident, the mistake they usually make, it's like wanasahau what has happened earlier. So they keep overspeeding. They keep overspeeding on the same issue. Then the problem is actually much of the problem is the drunkenness of our drivers. Utapata tu the wananchi wanasema actually these are the town service Nissans.
All right.
You will find early in the morning the conductor is very drunk.
Moses, sorry,
so we able to execute his work.
All right, thank you, Moses. I think if just before we come back to you, Boniface, it's the response, I think, that we're trying to understand. What do you see people do on the scene of a crash that you're most concerned about? Because that can also give an indication of what a lot of us listening can keep in mind. As a first respondent, beyond the drivers, beyond the behavior, what is it that you see happen as soon as that crash has happened? People are injured, people are possibly dead. Emergency response, I would like to assume, is still slow. What are the concerns you see around the response to the crash site? Very briefly.
Okay. I think we've lost him on the mic, but it's because we've discussed it before. First,
how to respond.
How to respond.
How to respond in the scene of an accident. We have Muniva, who also has been given the mic by Lioto, and others who are contributing. Then there's also Solomon Ndegwa. Solomon Ndegwa, please request the mic because I've seen your comment here. He's a safety ambassador, road safety advocate, whose mission is saving lives through better driving habits, championing defensive driving and distraction-free roads. And he had posted a comment here saying, on this particular conversation, saying enforcement and infrastructure are two legs of the stool, but driver DNA is a third. My research shows that 90% of accidents aren't just human error, they are predictable patterns. I've codified the maneuvers to break these patterns, and he says he even has a book on that. So it would be good to hear from you, Solomon, on this particular experience that you have in how human behavior change can reduce the number of accidents.
Right.
Maybe, Boniface, you can respond before we give Muniva the mic to continue.
Right. I'm also seeing the MP for Bahati has joined the space. In case you want to contribute, just ask for the mic, and that's Honorable Irene Joki. Yeah, Lioto will give you the mic. You can request for the mic in case you want to chime in as well. But let's go.
Yes, thank you. Let me go straight to Moses, who has observed, Moses Oluoch, who has observed a lot of things happening along the highways in Kisii, speed, the topography, the meandering of the highways, but on responder, which is part of the safe system approach, that is safer people, safer roads, safer speed, safer vehicles, and post-crash response. So St. John's, Red Cross, and many others are really working with the police and hospitals along the major highways. And on this, the Ministry of Health, through KMTC, have decided, it is a program we started last year, to train particularly the motorcyclist boda. Because as we say that police is the first responder, at that accident scene there were other road users. And we have documented that motorcyclists, boda, are now the first responders. So Ministry of Health, KMTC, Nairobi County Transport and Safety Committee have targeted to train bodas on the first response, basic first aid. What Latif was saying, when people responded to this accident, how do the people who have come to assist behave? Because we have also realized that some injuries are aggravated by the way we handle the injured. We pull the legs, we break more legs, we break more limbs while trying to fix. By last year, this project and KMTC had trained over 10,000 bodas across the Republic. Remember, KMTC has got, I think, 92 campuses. So on that, I know Latif don't like multi-agency. We are still doing multi-agency to fix that because it is not a one-man show. Defensive driving, Solomon, thank you very much, because when we talk about human behavior and error, the biggest responsibility is for the driver. Whether there are potholes on the road, whether the road is bad, you're supposed to slow down. Musumba from NTSA said, where are you rushing to? We are supposed to plan our journey. We know the road is bad, weather has changed, it is raining. So the behavior of the driver carries a lot of weight. That's why in defensive driving, we are saying, okay, you know how to drive, you know how to change gear, but how do you drive safely from point A to point B? How do you drive 360? You are driving the vehicles ahead of you, the vehicles from your right, the vehicle from behind, the vehicles from your left. That is when we are going to achieve this. There is a question about delaying. Njoro was taken for a long time for an obstruction which he could have fixed. National Commission on Administration of Justice, chaired by the Chief Justice, members are ODPP, Inspector General, and others in the criminal justice system, had declared almost 80% of traffic cases to be petty cases. And the serious cases in traffic, and this one I need Kenyans to get, is causing death by dangerous driving. In the event that somebody has died as a result of driving, that is a serious traffic case. Overspeeding or driving beyond the speed limit, that is a serious traffic offense. Driving under the influence of alcohol and any other intoxicating substance, that is a serious traffic offense. So yes, Njoro, the obstruction could have been handled because it is a minor. Although it is minor, to us in road safety, it is serious. Because when you stop on the road, you don't indicate, you make a right turn, you don't indicate, that other vehicle might ram onto you. Although they are petty offenses or violations, they have a lot to do with the figures we are talking about. So, instant fine, Latif discussions are on, where we want to charge you, pay your fine on the roadside and go. But you know, all the criminal justice system are involved. The police will not take the power of the ODPP. The ODPP is supposed to prosecute. The police and the ODPPs will not take power of the courts. It is the courts to award punishment. So where we are currently is just reconciling the operations of the National Police Service, ODPP, and the courts. I believe very soon Njoro, the contributor, and many Kenyans will have opportunity to pay their fines if they have violated any traffic offense. On the road. It's
already being piloted anyway in Nairobi, especially around either the expressway. There was a talk of not instant fines, but getting, what you get, the message when you've been overspeeding.
Yes. Allow me to address to that. That one, NTSA was doing that pilot on speed.
Cameras.
And those cameras could send you that message. So after that pilot was done, now we are at the back office. So that even if you commit this offense and get away, we will still send it to you. We will still inform you. And that is related to what Kenya Roads Authority, Kura, is doing, ITS project in Nairobi, where we are adding intelligent traffic lights to what we have, where we are going to reconfigure some of the intersections and roundabouts. So it is a whole huge work. And this is to address safety and not to inconvenience Kenyans. One of the role of traffic police is to provide free flow of all Kenyans, regardless of where they are coming from. So having instant fine in a multi-agency approach will help this, so that we don't take people to court, they are waiting for court, there are other... Imagine you are coming to work and we are holding you at the cells to wait to enter into court. You are not really a criminal, there are other criminals there. So through instant fine, Kenyans, we are going to address
we'll do a lot
that.
and decongest and make things faster. Let's hear from Engineer Muniva Carey. She's a PhD research assistant, material science and engineering. And just going through her profile on X, is very, very vocal and active on matters of engineering and engineering for road safety. Muniva, what is your contribution, your thoughts, your own experience on the road crashes in this country?
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. And it's very unfortunate that there's so much road accidents like in Kenya. And I think one of the biggest concerns that I noticed, because recently I was visiting Kenya and it really broke my heart, especially Nairobi Nakuru Highway. That's a two-way road. It's a two-way traffic road with so much traffic. So it was my first experience driving on that road. And although I've always used that road because I've always been a resident of Nakuru, but I studied in Nairobi. So, but for the first time I was the driver, I was on the driver's seat, and I could feel the fatigue that road can cause. Like there's so much traffic for it to be a two-way road, and I'm really hoping that that's going to change soon, or hopefully with the Rironi road. I still don't know the geography of that road and if that is going to go all through, but truly that road needs to be a dual carriageway. It needs you find some roads in Kenya, maybe like the Southern Bypass. Some of those roads, like the traffic volume is less compared to that of Nakuru-Nairobi highway, and yet that road has remained a two-way traffic. So that so far has really resulted to so many deaths. So that truly that needs to be pushed with every force. It needs to be pushed to be a dual carriageway. The other thing that I saw of concern, a big concern, was like the bumps. Most of the bumps are missing the markings, the road markings. They've faded over time. So you find like we were driving from Kisii. I think one of the speaker mentioned the Kisii-Keroka road, and then it goes to Sotik. I think. So we were driving from Kisii to Nakuru, and we used that Sotik road, and there were so many bumps, especially around close to Kericho. There were so many bumps that did not have the road markings. Those have faded. So as a driver, you're driving at maybe the recommended speed, and you just hit a bump, So the concern was if you're driving at night and there were no even traffic lights, that's going to really, just put you off and likely to cause an accident. So some of those things, I think like the road authority, they need to review some of those roads and update them. If the road markings, where the road markings, and most of the Kenyan roads, you find that the road markings are missing, the road furnitures are missing, whether it's speed limits, those stop signs, the road signs. Most of those are missing. Like literally, you're trying to exit. It's missing a road sign. You don't know like where this exit is going.
Right. So, Muniva, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to get your view on something slightly different. We're just about to go on a break, actually. Are you pursuing a doctorate in material science and engineering?
Yeah, I actually graduated. I've already graduated.
Congrats,
Dr. I did a bachelor's in civil engineering, so I do have an experience with traffic engineering, transportation engineering, and that's why that's why it's a concern. But I already graduated in PhD in material science and engineering.
Fantastic. Then just hold on. We'll come right back to you because I think there's a few questions. Yeah, we'd love to know from a material science engineer. Yeah. Just hold on and we'll give you the mic when we come back from the break. Sao? All right, we'll be right back. Sure. We'll be right back. Hashtag is Fixing the Nation NTV. We continue our conversation on how to curb road carnage after this short break. Many. Matatu owners are threatening a strike over attacks. Matatu operators have threatened to paralyze transport services nationwide following a spike in attacks and the burning of vehicles, citing lack of security. Matatu Owners Association chairman, that's Albert Karakacha, said that their only demand is protection, insisting operators will no longer tolerate the destruction of their vehicles. No more burning of vehicles, he said, calling on the government to act. The government has not yet responded.
But these are seriously bad cases. Yeah. You find there's an accident and there's an altercation and then this happens. When we aired this story the day before yesterday on NTV, we even interviewed some of the boda people. And they said, shida ya watu wa matatu saa zingine ni madharau. Anakuona unakuja ku-overtake, anaku-block. Now, obviously, the question is, una overtake from the left, or from the right, or from katikati. Unaingia tu, right? So there's that, but also they feel, and I think not just with matatu, but many boda people feel that motorists look down on them. So whenever there's an accident, kitu ya kwanza ni wewe ni nini, nyinyi watu wa magari mna madharau sana, and so on and so forth. Boniface, I'm sure you've encountered this many times as you're dealing with the border operators and also other motorists.
But allow me to be careful not to respond to the strike notice, because so long as you have it here, the state security apparatus are handling it, and I may not respond. But it is just a general appeal. The accident has occurred, let the law enforcement agencies, the police, to come and do the investigation. We get who is wrong. Sometimes the border can be wrong or right. Whether you are wrong or right at an accident scene, that one doesn't allow anybody to take law onto their own hands. So it is a general appeal to all road users, including border motorists. Please allow police to come and take appropriate action. Because again, one of the objectives why we do police respond to accidents is to investigate and to get or to assist the third parties to be compensated. So you have burned the car, you have run away with the border, we will not get evidence which insurance companies might use later, 2 years, 3 years, to compensate the victims. So it is a losing game. Let police come, take charge, and do investigation, because it benefits everybody. Yes.
Why do I feel sometimes, Boniface, that this impunity by border is because the politicians and the police fear border. Politicians don't want to do anything that will address the border because they know there's a voting bloc. Maybe that also adds the pressure on the police. But the fact that police, these borders operate with this kind of impunity,
Eric, police will never fear border, or police will never fear to enforce the law from any sector or any security challenge from anywhere.
So it's not fear, it's favor.
It is not even a favor. Police do investigations. Investigation is not an instant coffee. It is a process. You have to gather evidence. You have to fix it well. So investigation might take long, but police do not fear anybody. The National Police Service enforces the law uniformly. Yes.
Let's get back onto our XSpace. I wanted to ask Muniva on what she thinks about design issues. She's a materials and science engineer, undergraduate in civil engineering as well. So let's talk about broadly the roads and then even the fabrication of our vehicles, especially PSVs, matatus, whether they're 14-seater or the bigger buses as well. Could that be a contributing factor as well as road design, Muniva?
I think when it comes to road design, I think the major concerns is one, especially when you get to places that, for instance, especially because I have more experience with like Nairobi, Nakuru Highway, you find that some of these roads they divide into 3 lanes, and then once they divide to 3 lanes, just shortly, when you drive shortly, they then merge into 2 lanes. So sometimes as new drivers, that can be challenging to recognize that this road, which was a 2-way, that now has divided into 3 lanes to allow overtaking, and then it merges shortly after. So you find that you're both overtaking from both ends. You're overtaking from the right side, and the other one is overtaking from the left side. So you find you get into a head-on collision that way. So that is a major concern. The other concern that I have is with road furnitures. They're called road furnitures because, like the road signs, that's the biggest concern that we have, road signs and also the road markings, because you find, especially where the road view is limited. So you have meandering of the roads, the roads are meandering, you have sharp corners, you have like sharp corners or very inclined slopes. So you find there are no road markings to show that this road is a meandering road, or the view is limited. So you find like new drivers, the challenge, and you find like most accidents happen because of new drivers, especially if you're not familiar with that road. So if there are no road markings and there are no road signs indicating how the road is changing, so you find that most oftenly road accidents happen that way. So that is one bigger challenge, and I think security has been a concern, because you find like these road furnitures, people come, steal them. So I think also that behavior of, vandalizing the road signs, the road furnitures, and then stealing, that is also something that needs to be spoken about, because again, it increases, people don't think about it, but it increases the high risk of road accidents happening. So that is one thing that also needs to be noted. And then when it comes to PSVs, to be honest, if I had an option, like the matatus, I think we really do need to remove the matatus, but I know they drive the Kenyan economy. I would rather if we had big buses. You see, you go to Tanzania, the matatus only operate locally, but if it's like long distances, they have the buses which are well regulated. So for me, I would go with the buses which are, especially for long distances, that are well regulated. Those can be monitored, tracked, and the PSVs only operate locally. But the fact that we have to deal with the matatus, I think the one concern, especially with the drivers, is the attitude, the bad attitude that we have among the drivers. Especially, they don't give way to other road users. Mm-hmm. So that is one of the things that I've really found concern, because especially when you're in traffic, they just want to overlap. Yep. They want, they can just make a U-turn where a U-turn is not allowed. Mm-hmm. So such behaviors, mm-hmm, truly they prone us to road accidents. So there's a lot of negative attitude, a lot of competition, even with the private users. You find that you will always find just people talking to you badly because you're using a private car, Mm-hmm. So I don't know how that is going to change. I think this is something that it's an education, it's civic education that needs to be right from the foundation of road usage. Yeah. But I think it's a big problem.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Muniva.
Yeah, you've raised some really pertinent points there. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much we've talked about education. And then I'm also, for me, it's enforcement, guys. I feel like everything starts and ends
at enforcement.
I think so, because you're forced to adjust to laws. Mm-hmm. But as long as the laws are 50-50, yes, 20-80, whatever it is, right, I think everything else will happen. If vandalizers know that the law is neither here nor there, if PSVs know, if border borders know, if people know. Right. There are countries where you can't even think. If you think about it, the enforcement guys will be like, we can see you thinking. So don't try.
But also, I can see you think about
even this bad behavior that people say, I know that it's on us 100%, and I think we've said that enough. But I still think if somebody can see, this can land me a fine in jail. It'll be on my record. That missing link in many ways, I think we can talk all we want here. How much will actually change if...
Let me. Can I
push
spin
back
this a little bit?
Okay.
In many of the countries where you have this better road behavior, you have fewer police officers.
Yes.
And even cameras. So the camera will be there and it'll be indicated that there is a traffic camera 50 meters from here, and you will see it, right? But and people behave.
Yes. Kwa bush. But then we need to also discuss that. Mbona unajificha kazi, unajificha kwa nini?
But so here we have many more officers in all these places, and yet we break the law, right? So yes, there is a law. Today you don't just wake up, and carrying a knife and easily stabbing somebody. And the reason you don't do that is not because you know that you can be arrested and taken to jail. It's one of the contributing reasons, but also because you're just not that kind of person. You just tell yourself, I'm not a killer, right? But you will give a bribe, but you're not corrupt. You will drive stupidly on the road, but you're not stupid. And yet you are. In fact, let me just put it here. And Boniface said it. We go to driving school. We are told, keep left unless overtaking.
Yeah.
People assume that you keep left if there's no vehicle on the left. It's nonsense. On all these major highways, and we are dueling more roads, a straight road like the expressway, like the Kasupa highway, how many people will you find on the right lane? Sitting there, they are not overtaking, but they are seated driving on the right lane. Keep left unless overtaking. They are not overtaking, they're just there. If somebody is overtaking you from the left, you are the kono in that road.
If someone is overtaking you from the left, you're the kono. Okay, but there's also 4 lanes. If you want to think
There's
about
also
4 lanes.
There are 4 lanes.
Yes.
Keep left. Are you on the left?
Yeah.
Is there space on the left? Go to the left.
Okay.
Why are you on the right?
So if I'm slower,
God, in fact, you should be the one on that's the reason why you should be on the left.
on the left.
So you're still going
That's
back
true.
to driver behavior.
Yeah.
We just behave like, so we want to now have more police officers to come and do all these things. We like passing excuses so much as Kenyans. That's our life.
True.
On anything, but you see police are taking bribes, but you see, so police are taking bribes maybe from the matatus, all right? You, who has not been stopped in the morning on Kiambu Road and asked for a bribe, why are you behaving the way you're behaving?
But who will stop me?
That's the thing. Do you need to be stopped?
Not really.
Can you just do
but,
that?
Why do you
but,
need to be
but
stopped?
law enforcers are there because sometimes people like to act left. Like that's not.
And that's the thing. It should be.
And it should be a consistent enforcement.
It should be a minority acting left. The majority of road users
Are surviving the bad
we're
road.
just doing we're doing the wrong thing.
We are.
And coming up with an excuse. There are some instances where I support the excuses given.
Yeah.
But in many, I don't.
Let me ask. Let me use traffic lights as a case study.
Yeah.
In Nairobi, there's several places where essentially you'll rarely see traffic police officers, anybody, it's just lights. And do people follow the lights?
No.
They actually do.
There's some places where they do.
There's several
there are some places.
There are a few.
There are
Should
some
be more.
places where you
Yes.
have found people following the lights.
Yes.
And in how many, those lights are, let's say those lights are on not 24 hours, they hardly ever lights are on 24 hours. Let's say those lights are working for 8 hours in a day. How many minutes are people going to be obeying those traffic lights? There are instances where there are good drivers who will obey the light. There's once we had a fixer here who said, if 10 people approach a traffic light, right, there are 3 on the front on this lane and on this lane and others behind them. The ones behind will behave depending according to the ones in front of them.
True.
If the one in front of you stops, you stop. If the one in front of you passes, you also jump. Why?
I don't know. But I am thinking of several examples, like Ngong Road is a good example. People, by and large, without a traffic police officer, will actually stop.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
And they'll continue. And I've seen, like, there's pockets and pockets around Nairobi where there's lights, no traffic police officers, but people just do the right thing, except at night. For some reason, then nighttime, I don't know.
It's a security risk.
It's a security, okay. That's
That's an excuse given.
Okay.
No lighting on this road. You're alone at the traffic light. There's no light on the road. You are a sitting duck.
Fair. You're saying, yeah. But now, I'm trying to think about driver behavior, pedestrian behavior, cyclist behavior.
And enforcement.
Enforcement is a big issue for sure.
Yeah.
But I think by the time we get to enforcement, we've already lost half the battle because you're coming to correct after something has gone wrong, right? It's someone is already overspeeding, then you're flagging them down.
Knowingly.
Yes. If someone has, it's an accident has happened and then someone is coming to do this and that. But the fix is before, essentially. It's the education, which is what you are alluding to. It's the education, but also the change of the culture. And deciding to stop even when there's no car that you can see.
Exactly.
Right? If it's red, it's red.
And holding your ground even when you're being hooted at and cussed out.
Right.
Because you're doing the
Seeing
right
a
thing.
pedestrian approaching a zebra crossing and stopping so they cross.
Okay. Not that they're in the zebra crossing.
Not that
already.
mnapishana na pedestrian kwa zebra
I see
crossing.
that almost every day, and my heart goes out because I'm like, what are we doing? She's supposed to pass. Then you stop to let them pass and see how you'll be. But I just think
pedestrian crossings are another one.
Yeah,
because
they're for surviving.
They are. The
It's
way you have to
unfortunately.
move so quickly, even though you're the one on the pedestrian walkway, you still have to be like.
But if we had frequent license checks, if there was certainty in enforcement, I get it, education, enforcement, but I think if there's laxity, I think if it's inconsistent, I'm not excusing bad behavior, I know. But again, because we don't know how people wake up and choose to behave.
Poor enforcement.
They need to know, if I go out there deciding I'm being very clever, I'll be met with the wrath of the law.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask
Poor enforcement
Boniface,
breeds impunity.
in your assessment, you may not have been in the field for a minute, but in your assessment, are people aware of how the roads work and they're just choosing to ignore? Or is it like a lack of knowledge? Like Munivi, I hope I've gotten the name right. Muniva, sorry, was talking about climbing lanes, for example. That's something that, it's there in some places, not in others. Are people aware? Are Boda Bodas aware that I can't be overtaking from the left? Genuinely, do they know? Did they go to driving school? Did they?
Thank you. I think somehow you have listened to you and you have agreed with me and many of us that the greatest responsibility on road safety is the individual road user, including the driver. It is very pathetic that you went to a driving school, you know a pedestrian crossing is a no-go zone when there are pedestrians, whether they are right or wrong, and you still drive through. 2 weeks ago, a child was knocked at Georgia, if you know Thika Road, Georgia, the Way Bridge. A marked pedestrian crossing, a child in uniform was crossing, and we don't know. He ended up being knocked, and the young boy of 13 years lost his life. That is the level of recklessness or carelessness by such a road user. So yes, the responsibility must go back to us. How do I behave? On the road we say, whether you are right, please yield. Slow down for 2 seconds. It will save time, it will save life. The rush mentality of us, I don't know whether we are rushing again to fix the economy and to make the economy grow. Yes, we must do this rush with safety. We must do it when we will reach where we are going. But maybe I would like to ask Muniva, she has observed about the congestion along the Rironi, Nakuru. I think we all know that the national government, the president has taken action on this. And last year he launched the dualling of the stretch from Rironi all the way to Total. So this is a problem which will be solved if the project is conducted. But again, how do we behave? The road was one way. We used to slow down while overtaking each other. Now we are free. It is our lane. Again, it will come with the challenges. We know before the users adjust to the new conditions. Buses, BRT, we have got another organization I wish to mention here called Nairobi Metropolitan Area Authority, which is handling the BRT matters for the government. And on this matter, there are discussions, there are projects, there are tangible intentions by the national government to bring that mass transport, the massive transport, the light trains. We know from Ruiru or from Kikuyu, you go with your car, you park it there, you take one ticket to the train, to railway station, you get the railway bus to community. So it has started. Maybe, Eric, you have not experienced that.
I have not heard anyone.
Doing what? Using the
train.
Of the train
from
and all.
Kikuyu. You go to Kikuyu train station, you park your car, there. You take one ticket, which pays parking, pays the train. You come to railway station, you get the railway bus, takes you to community. In the evening, you use the same
bus.
What I do know is the single ticket for parking and the train. But yes, the train from Kikuyu to railways, very
out from
straightforward.
Dandora.
Wherever.
Yes.
In all these places, I've seen the buses on the road.
Yes.
And I know the trains, that conversation has been there for years.
Yes.
The success of such things comes from third-party user endorsement. How many people have you heard saying, actually, I stopped doing those things because, right? It's the convenience of it. What's the frequency of the bus to community?
Yeah.
Must I wait until 5:30 when the bus comes so that I can board the bus to go back to railway to do this and the other? Is there train operating just at the frequency of one per day? I think once those ones are sorted and increase, they'll increase the usage. But good point.
Yeah.
We have other speakers on the line who would like to contribute. Solomon, who's the road safety advocate, will be speaking. But let's start with Frida. Frida, you had requested the mic, and then we saw Jimmy also asked for the mic, and then we'll finish with Solomon in this round. So Frida, you go first.
Thank you, everyone, for this forum. It is very, very important this purpose. Myself being a victim of a very fatal road accident, and I'm also a person who became a paraplegic or living with disability because of that road accident. Again, I'm an advocate of road safety.
Frida, sorry to interrupt, Frida. We have a problem with your connection. Let's just maybe try and change position, and then we come back to you. I think there's just an issue with your connection, so it's not very clear.
Yeah.
We'll try and come back to you shortly. Jimmy, let's hear from you. Jimmy, are you there? Not on. Okay, Solomon.
Solomon Degwa, he says his bio says he's a safety ambassador and a road safety advocate he's saving lives through better driving habits and championing defensive driving and distraction-free roads. And maybe we'll even go a little bit more into defensive driving with Boniface and Solomon as well. Solomon, are you ready? All right.
Yes, I'm ready. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm Solomon Degwa.
Go on,
Road
Solomon.
Safety Ambassador. And my mission is saving lives through better driving habits, championing for defensive driving and distraction-free routes.
I'm not sure why.
I'm also
Solomon,
my race test evil.
So sorry, I think the connection is a bit shaky. Maybe if you could move somewhere else where we can get you clearly, and then maybe we'll come back to you. But for now, we can't hear you very clearly. We'll just have to come back to you a bit later on.
Yeah, I think that one will be important, Frida, as well, from the aspect of a survivor. Maybe some feedback as we engage Boniface and see if we can get clear lines from our users on X. Hassan Mohammed, is there any data showing that senior citizens of Kenya are the ones causing reckless accidents? And TSA drafting a new law subjecting seniors to produce their medical reports to get their driver's license. And Anna Moss, as a new driver, I cringe at the roundabouts. What is the battle at roundabouts? Yeah. What's the strategy for fixing border menace? I think we've tried to touch on that. Abella Collins, ni kweli systems iko broken, lakini wa Kenya pia tuko na makosa yetu. Tuna drive tukijua hatuja comply na basic road safety requirements or even guidelines clearly set out. I'll end with Charles and Lenny. Charles says, the futility of this discussion is my biggest concern. What will come out of it? Nothing will come out of it until the day and time when we all become fully compliant to the rule of law and to the letter, talk and more talk. Lenny de Steve, why would investigations take long on things like vices that are in the open, and as Boniface said, they are resourced? Senior citizens.
Yes, thank you. Senior citizen, I'm not sure which age we declare somebody to be a senior citizen. But it is important for us, whether you are a junior citizen, whether you are an 18-year-old driver, or over 60, for example, if I do parallel with retirement age in civil service. We need to be medically fit to be on the highways. Our eyes are okay, we hear, because driving is using all the senses plus any other sense, which in military or police we call it the sixth sense. We know all the five, but a military personnel, a police personnel will have the sixth one. So being medically fit to check your eyes, your hearing, there are underlying diseases like hypertension, the body chaser, which can happen while on the highway. So it is not that anybody wants to fix you or punish you, but it is a concern to us in road safety that you are medically fit to be on the road. Allow me to say that in 2019, around 2020, NTSA came up with that regulations that for public service vehicles and commercial vehicles, the drivers will be tested after every 3 years, medical tests. The medical tests, when they go to renew their DLs, were to consider or to outline whether they are seeing clearly, whether they are hearing, or they have any disability, which might occur while you hold your driving license. But I think the stakeholders were not engaged properly, and there was a problem and it was shelved down. But it is not bad to be medically fit on the road. It is not bad to be able. Let this accident, if it happens caused by any other cause, but not that you are medically unfit. Yes.
Okay. Back to the fixes now, going forward. I want to get into the XSpace for the fixes. I know I told Muniva to hold on to her thoughts as far as now what we do going forward, and a few of the others. I see Gats also has the mic. Let me start with Gats and then Muniva, and we'll finish off with Boniface as well. Going forward, it's 398 lives in 29 days essentially. It's way too many. It's 398 too many. So what are the fixes? Let me begin with you, Gats. You have the mic. Gats, can you hear us? Okay, perhaps. Okay.
Okay, yes, I can hear you. But I just want to reiterate that my approach would be we need proper design. We need to look into the design of our roads. Then, generally as Kenyans, users, motorists, pedestrians, we need to change our behavior, that our safety comes first. We have the sole responsibility of ensuring our safety, then the others. And then lastly, with regards to enforcement, let's have very minimal human contact, because the part of police on the ground, like you're saying, some.
Sorry to interrupt you, Gats. A little problem with the connection, but I did hear you saying lastly we'll talk about enforcement, and we'll come back to you just when the connection is a bit clearer. Let's give it a second and work on it. Let me hear from Boniface though. The fixes, I know one is obviously, road user behavior, all road users, right? What are the other fixes? And when we say fixing road user behavior, what does that look like?
Fixing road user behavior is going back to our basics. What did we learn in the driving schools? And even if you think what we learned in driving schools when we were learning the first time, are we able to get time to go back? Like Solomon, who is dealing with defensive driving. One objective of defensive driving is to drive safely and to utilize that vehicle, for example, if you're a driver, in a manner that saves funds, you reduce tear and wear, ABCD. It all involves journey planning. It all involves regular checks, pre-journey checks, regular repairs. How often do we check when our personal cars are due for servicing? This is individual responsibility. So, as government, of which we have adopted a multi-agency, by the way, did I mention that traffic management involves Ministry of Interior and National Administration? It involves Ministry of Roads and Transport, and it involves devolved government, county governments. If you go to the Constitution, the fourth schedule, transport is a devolved function. That's why, with that in mind, we have got regulations by NTSA creating county transport and safety committees in the 47 counties. They are headed by the governor or nominee of the governor. Most of the time, county executive committee member for roads and transport, whichever name they call it. So these 47 committees, where in 2014 again, the Inspector General created the Office of County Traffic Enforcement Officer. Because the law says the head of police in that county will be the secretary of the committee. So Inspector General responded by giving each county transport and safety committee a secretary. I'm simply saying that the road safety or the transport issues are unique to each and every county. And that's why through that committee, we are able to fix a lot, and we are doing a lot. The 2014 up to middle last year, NTSA and the National Police Service were training the committee members, because again, they were to be trained on their TORs. What are they supposed to do? Things like fixing routes, fixing parking areas, registering circles, registering border circles or PSV circles. This is done at the county level. And it is a multi-agency where Inspector General is represented. So at the national, at the county, the multi-agency is working for us. Because go back to what I said, if we respond to an accident and it is engineering, we have got Kenha. If we respond to the accident, we got the driver was not qualified, he did not have a driving license, we refer to NTSA, because we are all together in this. If the accident involved maybe a transit cargo truck, at the National Police Service, we have got a specific unit called Northern Corridor Transit Police Unit, who works very closely with Northern Corridor Transit Transport Coordinating Authority. This one takes on transport in the whole of East Africa. It deals with our transit cargo. So the national government, maybe people are not aware, maybe at the studio here we are not aware. If all these interventions were not taken, maybe the records could have been worse. So we are privy. Of course, I'll say we are on top of things, although we still record those accidents. Remember, at the global level, the UN in 2021, the UN General Assembly, I think the 73rd, passed a resolution called Road 10 years of action plan to fix road safety. And the goal of the action plan at the global level is to reduce accident by 50% by year 2030. If you come locally, our national road safety action plan, developed by NTSA with all agencies, 2024-2018, borrows heavily on that global direction. So the figures we are talking about, me and all relevant agencies are working on reducing them. It is a realization that, yes, crashes might occur, but can we reduce? Globally, we have come out of saying we are going to attain Vision Zero, like most of the Europe and Scandinavian countries, which has attained zero. We are developing economy. We cannot attain zero, but we have agreed.
Zero being?
No accidents. Zero accidents.
Yes.
Like-
it is in Sweden, Netherlands. So we have agreed.
Like zero sorry, I'm just...
It do happen, but
Okay.
there are a lot of parameters to achieve that. So for us and many developing economies, our attainable, our low-lying parameters are to reduce the current figures.
Yeah.
So we are working on that.
There's just and I think that we'll have to continue having this conversation with other stakeholders, because it's the same, the education, the enforcement, and of course the engineering will continue coming up. There's Swale Abdullahi on X who's saying, kwa mtazamo wangu, shida ni nidhamu ya barabara ndio hatuna, madereva, abiria na wapita njia. Iwapo tutazingatia nidhamu, basi kwa kiwango fulani tutapunguza ajali barabarani. Jambo lingine ni kubadili mtazamo wetu pindi tu barabarani, kaida na kanuni za barabara zitiliwe maanani. The basics, like you said, right? Going back to the basics. Danson Maina says, action for road safety entails having a high level of awareness on the roads to avoid the impact that kills. There are drivers who have speed in their DNA. Having special speed lanes or sports events that are dedicated for such drivers. As an F1 fan, I advocate for onboard cameras. That's now more on, somewhere to take out this speed. But speeding lanes like Germany and the Autobahn, very well known. It's like, kama uko na haraka, this is for you.
They are
you
called
know?
technographs.
Technographs, that's the official name.
Yes.
Do you think that's something that could work here?
Yes, it would work if government must, number one, come with policies and guidelines to have them. Then if we are able to come up with those policies, then it will be mandatory that they are fixed. Just like the public service vehicles and commercial vehicles, they must fix a speed limiter. It is mandatory. You don't have a speed limiter, that's a serious violation. So when we come to this, and there was a conversation when that we wanted to start a pilot with school buses, so that this technology, it is like another drone, CCTV in that vehicle. It checks everything, just like the black box of the aeroplane. In the event of crash, and if the motor vehicle owner has fixed it, he can be watching the way we are in the studio. My driver is now off the road. My driver is over speeding. So I think we are at coming up with the regulations. Because it is world best practice, it is working.
It's working elsewhere, yes, for sure. Even, the cameras, as you've talked about. What was I going to ask about? How we enforce some of these things. The thought has escaped me. It'll come back. But it was, I know it was something to do with the Autobahn and like...
having speed lanes on our highways.
Yes, having proper speed lanes. I don't know if we're the right people for this.
You know,
let me just answer that Kenyan, that we have Traffic Act dictates the speed of all highways in Kenya. The highest speed in Kenya, if you are not in Safari Rally or any motorsport, is 110 kilometers per hour on a dual carriageway. If it is a single carriageway, 100.
Okay.
All public service vehicles, including Uber, so long as you are a public service vehicle, and lorries and trailers, 80 kilometers per hour, whether they are in dual, whether they are in single. In the peripheries of urban centers, we go to 50. And in the periphery of schools, hospitals, specialized installations, we go to 30. So this one, you don't need a police officer to stand on the way again.
How many
tell
people
you.
know this? Oh, they should.
I think-
Okay,
I think
my
it
bad.
They
should
should
be
be
our-
know from the driving school.
did you go to driving school?
Yes. What were you told? What were you taught?
You mentioned the trailers, and I saw a very scary video. I think I was even showing Janet yesterday. Was it?
The Southern Bypass.
Yeah, on the
The
Southern
Southern
Bypass.
Bypass.
Yes, you saw the trailer just
Yes,
coming
yes.
off. That looks like either someone maybe was ill or they fell asleep on the road, because even again to miss the jerk, because they essentially went over the curb.
The other lane,
yes.
the other curb.
And to miss that feeling, aujamka bado, you are
Yes.
out like a light. And I think driver fatigue is definitely a cause of accidents on our roads, especially for long distance drivers. What are your thoughts on enforcing time limits? I know in the US, engine inakata after a certain amount of hours on the road. So kama hujatafuta mahali pa kulala, hiyo ni shida yako, utalala on the side of the road. It's up to you. Can we do something similar to make sure that especially long distance drivers are not fatigued? Some of them do shifts almost 24 hours.
I agree with you, and with the technograph technology, I think we can be able to automatically switch off the engine for this driver. But currently, what we have, the regulations on commercial vehicle. Commercial vehicles and public service vehicles are supposed, a single driver is supposed to drive for 8 hours. That is within a day or within 24 hours. In the 4th hour, meaning in between, they are supposed to have a rest of 30 minutes. That is in law. That is already fixed. But again, we have a challenge with the transporter or the consumer of the good who is waiting those goods elsewhere without considering the driving hours. And I'm happy to report that the transporters themselves, some of them have come with mitigation factors to fix that. Like, I can give an example. There is a private operator called Checkmate at Maungu. This guy has got a big parking area for trailers. I think he can park over 50 trailers at a go.
Yep.
At that center, there is medical check, eye, pressure, rest, bed for these people to rest. So you see, they're doing it themselves because they have realized the benefit of a driver which is not distracted, a driver who is not sick. So the transporters they're working with, it is mandatory, as Latif is a transporter, that your vehicle must pass at that center. So
and stop and park.
Yes. So as government, we support that. But again, you will get Kenha. I was part of the discussion on coming up with the roadside stations, where now the government wants to build such a thing, but for government, along the northern corridor, where the trailers and any other long distance, whether it is PSV, will have opportunity to park, a safe area, there are cafeterias, there is a Wi-Fi, everything, Blue Zone facilities, so that we can fix the fatigue on drivers. Now, even if you tell them you rest where?
They have nowhere
you
to
have
stop.
to stop. Where to stop?
Yeah, and that brings into the issue of the Northern Corridor Authority and the Kenya National Highways Authority, but also the government. And I think the government should just not even engage in this. The government should create a facilitative environment for private sector to invest, like the one you're talking about in Maungu. There's another one, the Superior Homes, the real estate developer down at Salama. There's another one called Superstop, which again is another. There's a petrol station, huge parking area, various places. There's a prayer room, there's a clinic, there's a restaurant,
garage.
There's a garage there for minor repairs, there's toilet facilities, you know, and trucks go there and they park overnight. And they proceed. So that should be encourage the private sector to set up such, give them the rebates that they need so they can establish more of those. The authorities, the road users, the road agencies. How many hours does it take to move from Mombasa to the Busia border? How many days? How many kilometers is it? In other jurisdictions, that is a 1.5 day ride at most. In Kenya, it's how many days ride? Very many.
Nairobi to Busia?
Yes. Many. They will take so long. Why? Because of the condition of our roads. Right? So you'll find that this truck can only drive so slowly, and also I keep telling you, there's nowhere you'll drive in this country where you're not just constantly wobbling, because the road surface is not smooth. And we have guys who is a resident engineer, designed that road, contracted a contractor, and came and signed, I'm satisfied with the workmanship here. Such people.
Eric,
such people should be investigated by the authorities like Kenya National Police Service, and found to have broken their own laws.
Eric, I agree with you. And look at our major towns along the corridor, the northern corridor. To respond to that, the government came up with the bypasses, like the southern bypass, eastern bypass. Do you know the amount of traffic volume the southern bypass and eastern bypass has removed from the main artery? That is Mombasa Road, Uhuru Highway, Wayaki. I was a young officer when trailers were along that road, and we used to leave the roundabouts at midnight because of those trailers. So you see, in Nairobi, we have a bypass. In Kisumu, we have a bypass. In Eldoret, we have a bypass, so that we ensure that these goods are delivered timely.
Yeah.
And again, the one which was asked by Munyiva, which I responded, the current project of dwelling Rironi up to Total, that in Mau Summit. All these will ensure that our goods, our investors, our neighbors, because the northern corridor, the port of Mombasa, serves Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Eastern DRC, and South Sudan. And that's why, again, under major projects, we are coming up with the LAPSET just to ease the northern corridor. You know, infrastructural development are not instant coffee. You have to budget for it, you have to design, you have to get a good contractor, not the one Latif will arrest because they left some items on the road, which we don't condone, so that it is fixed well, which the citizen, government, particularly the citizen, will get the quality of the investment.
Okay.
The investment will be worth because it serves them.
Okay. As we finish, let's close with going back to police officers. How do we get them to be more education and less enforcement? I know the work of a police officer is technically enforcement, but there'd be a lot less work to do if the education bit sunk in, so that, again, the public trust is there. We read a really grim story about a driver who caused a terrible accident, who had been intoxicated from Kakamega, I think, if I'm not wrong. And the accident happened in Naivasha.
And claimed 10 lives.
Yeah, claimed 10 lives. And I'm thinking how many police stops there are between Kakamega and Naivasha. It can't be less than 6 or 7, if we're being honest. If there was public trust, because these people had, they had tried calling out, and that's a problem as well for road users and passengers. Like, why are you getting into a vehicle with an intoxicated driver? But I think if there was public trust at any one of those stops, if they had said, this guy is drunk, he shouldn't be driving us, something would have changed, right?
Allow me to say that police work or policing, police is supposed to live within the community. And the people being policed, wananchi, must agree with the police. That's why we have community policing. People being policed must agree with the police and agree that this is how we want our neighborhood to behave. We have improved on receiving reports or, how do I call it? Anonymously, without me saying it was Otieno, it was Eric who reported me. And allow me to tell wananchi and even read for them the Fichua kwa DCI. This is a very active line, manned more than 24 hours, I think 27 hours per day. This line is connected everywhere. Any report which comes to Fichua kwa DCI is acted upon. Meaning, if you are an honest passenger, you are in a vehicle, the driver is misbehaving, driver has got some sachets sipping that doesn't seem to be water, you can text.
What's the line
you
for
can
this
WhatsApp, and action will be taken. Of course, we have our traditional 999. It is active. 911, active 24/7. 112, active 24/7. Fichua kwa DCI 0800 722 203. The WhatsApp line for DCI 0709 570 000.
Okay.
Informing our viewers and listeners, anything you want to report, whether it is traffic, whether it is crime, kindly use those numbers, because the 99, 991, 112 are all fixed to our command center at Jogo House, where in Nairobi and Mombasa, again, supported by CCTVs. So we are active, and these lines are very active. Anytime you report them anonymously, action will be taken.
All right, let me just repeat that, the Fichuakwa DCI number.
Yes.
0800 722 203.
Correct.
That's 0800 722 203.
Yes.
And then we still have 999 999 911. I didn't know 911.
999.
No,
Is it 999
he
or
said
999?
He said both.
999.
He said both,
He
yeah.
said
and
both.
911.
Yes.
And 911.
Yes. And one.
Second
And
one, and 112.
And
Yeah.
the WhatsApp for Future Kwadisia is 0709 570 000.
Yes.
Those are helpful.
Yes.
Please
Thank you
take
so
note.
much.
Yeah.
Hey, we have to wrap up the conversation, but
Yeah.
you guys have been incredibly engaging. We are very, very thankful. The conversations are important. We'll continue holding other stakeholders, whether it's Kenha, whether it's the NTSA, whether it's the ministry, and just figure out how to fix this road carnage. I don't think we should be talking about numbers in the hundreds, in the tens. If people can achieve zero, so can we. So let's keep the hashtag going, Fixing the Nation NTV. Continue engaging with us. The conversation continues online. Aside from that, a big, big thank you to Boniface Otieno. He is the National Police Service Traffic Police Department Liaison for Nairobi. It's a long
It's a
title,
long one.
but to me, Pata.
Yeah, and thank you for spending,
Yeah.
the time with us. Rhythm
The
and
morning with
Vibes
us.
is up next on Your World, where music comes alive on Friday. So, we have to co-sign on that
Bas.
with Winnie and Mikali, and of course Vibe Shift with Claudia and Brian on Nation FM. Thank you for staying with us. Janet Bogwa, Mariam Bishar, Eric Latif. Have a lovely weekend.
See you next month.